Okay, so this is part 2 of our masterclass, and we're just gonna take a look at how to trace the logo in Photoshop this time. I already have the image open, and over at the side I have the pen tool selected. So I'm just gonna start tracing around this. So set the first point and then just start going around, basically following the same path as we did in Illustrator. And already you should be seeing some differences between the two applications. In Photoshop you don't have as many options as far as what color the line is, so it might be a bit hard to see what's happening. But luckily in our case this is a fairly simple logo, and we're just following some straight edges, nothing too complex at all. We also don't have any guides or indicators as to where points and lines are lining up. We had that in Illustrator, but we don't have any of that at all in Photoshop. And that really is the major difference between the two. In Photoshop you have the same pen tool pretty much, but in Illustrator it's much more refined. It has a lot more options, and as far as just working with shapes, outlines and so on, Illustrator is clearly the superior application. But I anticipate that a lot of people probably don't have Illustrator, and I just wanted to still make this video just to show you that with a bit more patience, I suppose, and just being more careful as you draw your outlines, you can still do a fairly decent job using Photoshop. Another difference is how you break these handles. In Illustrator we just clicked the point and it broke the second handle, but here you have to press Alt and that then breaks the handle, and then you can carry on drawing your line. I'm just going to do this curve here, and we need to break this handle here and then just connect it up to finish the loop. Let's go around and finish off this last section. And there we go. We've now traced the whole logo. To make sure that our trace is indeed present, first of all, I'm working in Photoshop CC 2014, and I'm using the Essentials workspace, which is the default, which means over here on the right side, next to layers and channels, there's another section called path. And here we can see our work path, and you can see a sort of like a preview outline of what we just drew. So we definitely have our trace, we just need to export it. So go to File, Export Path to Illustrator, just click OK, and we're just going to code this PS Trace for Photoshop Trace and hit Save. And this time there is no extra pop-up asking you what format you want to save as. It already is compatible with Cinema 4D. So if I jump into C4D, I want to go to File and Merge, and let's find our pstrace.ai, click Open, and here again just hit OK, and there we have it. Exactly the same as what we got from Illustrator. We can even open this and you can see we have these spline objects, and I can go to point mode and you can see it's quite a clean trace as well. If you were to do a close-up and side-by-side comparison of this trace, comparing it to the one we had from Illustrator, perhaps the only difference you'd be able to notice is that maybe some of the points, for example, the points which make up the top section of the V here, they may not be lined up as perfectly as they were in Illustrator because we had those guides helping us. But from a distance, it's almost exactly the same, and in the long run, it doesn't really matter too much. We can always adjust them to be perfect. But that's it. Now you know how to trace your logo using Photoshop, and depending on which program you're more familiar with, you are either going to use Photoshop or Illustrator, but it always helps to know how to use both. That's the end of this tutorial. I will see you in the next one where we'll take a look at how to trace the logo within Cinema 4D.